Metric Motorcycle Madness presents Yamaha Roadstar 1600 K&N filter edition using the stock airbox. Hey guys, Metric Motorcycle Madness here. We're doing a little cheap shit quick video today. Today we're working on a 2003 Roadstar 1600, a Yamaha. There'll be some videos on this. This is a new bike here we're working on. We want to replace this with a high-flow K&N filter. Reason being, we have these unbaffled, nice Vance Hines 2-into-1 pipes here. I'm not a fan of the 2-into-1 in particular, but they're nice and loud. Problem being, you really need to be running performance injection or jet kit along with a high flow filter to have the bike run to its best performance for those pipes and have it start and perform the best. So we have a K&N replacement filter here that will fit hopefully in the stock airbox according to this. You can also get aftermarket airboxes, or you've also seen probably the hypercharger kits. I'm not quite a fan of the hypercharger kits. They require a lot more effort to put in, and unfortunately people run their idle at far too low with those typically, and that can put a lot of extra stress on the bearings in the bottom of the engine. So anyways, we're going to do this kind of in the reverse process because this is already off. But this is your old filter, what it looks like as it comes out of the inside of this. There is a plastic chrome cover on the outside. Do not remove the screw on this and then try to pull this off of the housing. This is held in also by 2 screws on the back, which requires removal of this airbox off of the actual bike. So you will break all of this if you try to take it apart with just the 1 screw. So anyways, this is, of course, you're going to be using this if you're running a stage jet kit. Now, because we have this and those pipes, we would be running stage 2 jet kit in the carburetor, because this bike is carbureted. It's an 03. Otherwise, if you were just running just those pipes, or perhaps just this filter, stage 1 would probably be sufficient. So that's going to be maybe another video. But we'll get this out of the packaging here. A couple differences in the filter. Obviously, the K&N is pre-oiled. This one, I don't believe the stocks ones are. We have this gasket here that had some oil on it that was assisting in keeping this sealed. However, I'm not sure if we're going to need to reuse it on this. So as you'll see on this filter, we have this bottom spigot here, and that is for one of the hoses. One's coming off the carburetor. I don't recall where the other one's coming from, but this does not have it on the bottom because it's sucking in through here. It's a high flow. So they have this nice little hole cut out here, and they include in the kit a O-ring, a gasket, and just a standard L valve, or whatever you want to call it, L-shaped. And then that's going to go right onto where the hose is. So you're going to take this and press this into the hole first, and then insert one of these ends. Make sure you get the orientation correct so it's pointing, down as it comes out here. They've also included some new screws I see for mounting as opposed to the old ones. Not sure if the threads are the same here. They don't look to be, so we may end up just using the old ones here. I don't think that's going to matter. So actually, I think you do need the new ones here. I wasn't looking at the right screws. Those are the stock screws, machine screws, that are the mounting for there. You're going to need the longer ones to reach all the way down in here with some washers. So what we're doing now, we've just placed this right into the assembly. We're going to put both the screws back into each side here, and then attach the hose, as you can see here, up onto here as to where that one was, and that just feeds this hose back onto the back of the carburetor where the other hose is attached from the carb. So the hose is on here, both of the screws are on there. This is really tight fitting how it comes into here. It's almost kind of bent in. If I were you, I would, if you can, maybe get a hose clamp. I think I'm going to put a small hose clamp on this later on, just to make sure it's, you know, as tight as it can be here. So now it's basically reassembly. So what we're going to do first, we're going to replace the front cover onto this unit. In case you ever want to switch back to the old filter, save these screws. So the cover, fairly straightforward. Just fits on here like so. Make sure it's all even in the seal. And you've got your one large bolt here, which is going to go in. I'm removing these with a hex, which I believe this is probably a 6mm, if I remember correctly. Looks to be around there. This is going to get bolted down. And on the back side, we have a screw here and a screw here, which are some threaded screws you can see there. So go ahead and tighten those 3 items down first, and then we're going to put this back onto the bike. Okay, so with this fully assembled here, I'm going to go around onto the carb. And this, as you can see, the hose clamp, just loosen up maybe a bit more than this. It's just going to go around here, and then you're going to come in from the top with a Phillips head screwdriver, just like you did for these screws here, and tighten that down as much as you can without making too much of an issue. Before you do that, you want these 2 hoses going on. The lower hose to go onto the big spigot. The smaller one is going to slide onto here. Wouldn't worry about getting hose clamps on there. It's pretty tight quarters. And then your last point, you have 3 screws that hold the whole unit on. There's 2 smaller ones down there, and then there's one longer one with washer. The longer one is going to go down here, as apparent by that hole, and the other 2 ones are going to go up on the engine mounting block. And that's pretty much it, guys. And we're going to start this up and see how terribly it runs, because I'm actually just doing this video first. And I'm going to take this back off, and we're going to redo the carb and everything in the unit here for the Stage 2 jet kit.